Welcome to my new furniture series, part 2. Welcome back guys, my name is Evan. In part 1, we cleaned the interior of this couch, used leather honey to wipe off the grime and clean the leather, removed all the stubborn paint, and got rid of most of those stains. So if you haven't gone and watched that, I'd highly recommend starting there first. So now we need to tackle those extensive cat scratches, leather wrinkles, and deal with the permanent staining. So let's get to it. Hey Leather Honey community, my name is Evan and it's my goal to share the skills and tools needed to love your leather. Feel free to check out my video library of leather care tutorials over on the Avami's YouTube channel. Like I said in the previous video, when I was trying to remove those stubborn paint marks on the couch, I inevitably pushed too hard and it did create some kind of dent in the leather, probably due to the inner foam or padding becoming compressed as I rubbed the paint off. Nonetheless, there's actually a simple fix and it works really well with wrinkles and creases as well. It's simply using a warm iron to steam out the foam and soften up the leather to bring it back to the original texture. And although I can't promise this will work on everything, it definitely did the job for me. All I did was take a damp cotton cloth to gently steam the leather back into place. I did have to do this several times to get the results that I wanted, but it did bring back the leather better than I expected. Again, works great for wrinkles or creases on footwear as well. Now, if you guys try this at your own risk, make sure that you never leave the heat on for too long. It will shrink and damage your leather. I only left the iron on the cloth for about 2 seconds at a time and then repeated until I got it right. Alright guys, now onto the cat scratches. Gotta love kittens, right? Well, believe it or not, these actually turned out way better than I expected. I simply picked up some leather glue by Phoebing's to glue down each scratch. The reason I used leather glue rather than other glues is because this one bends and flexes with the leather. On top of that, it comes out white, but then it dries clear, so it's gonna be really good as it sets us up for our recoloring. And if you guys are thinking that this is actually like a really tedious process, it doesn't have to be. I was just trying to conserve glue, but you can actually slather it on in an upward motion and then seal the glue into the fibers using a downward motion. Let me explain. So the technique to getting the best results is actually quite easy. So since the cat's claw downward, all you have to do is fill in the scratches using an upward motion. This is going to fill back in the leather in the opposite direction that the scratch came from, pushing it back into place, if that makes sense. Not all cat scratches can be repaired with the same results, but as you guys will see, this one worked out really well. So since this glue is water soluble before it dries, make sure that when you're finished putting the glue into the scratches that you go back over with a damp cloth and wipe off any excess glue that you don't need. And just so you guys know, this is trying to fix the texture. We haven't even colored it yet, so stay tuned. Definitely drop a comment below of what you guys think so far. Now, this back part of the couch was definitely the most damaged by cat scratches. It's really bad. But before we do that, I'm just removing some paint that was left over with some rubbing alcohol. There's really not too much we can do to fully repair the couch's stains and claw marks. So as I mentioned, we will be recoloring parts of the couch in some of the next steps here. And as you guys can see, I'm just repeating those same steps we just took to tack back down the leather. And as you can see, it's really doing a great job. At least it's preventing further damage and tears. Again, applying the glue upward into the scratch and then downward to seal it with the glue. Like I said, it doesn't really have to be a clean job. You can just wipe off any excess glue before it dries with a damp cloth. And just so you guys know, it looks really ugly because it's still wet, but it will dry lighter as you'll see later. Alright guys, so remember in part 1 we used the wet vac to try and remove a lot of those stains? Well, most of them are gone, but it didn't remove everything, so we're going to have to pivot. And just to be clear, once I cleaned the leather, I put towels both inside and on top of the leather to absorb any remaining moisture as I left it until it dried. Then I put it back onto the cushion, and as you guys can see, the oils and color moved around a lot, so we'll be massaging it back into place. And due to how rough that this leather has become due to the lack of care, I'll be using a fine grit sandpaper of about 600 to gently remove any lifted fibers from the leather. Again, not doing too much, you don't want to sand a hole through your leather, just very gently making it smooth before we condition it. This leather is feeling so much smoother, but after trying to remove some of these paint stains on the cushions, nothing whatsoever worked for me. It was just seemingly dyed all the way through, and it was probably a different paint from the other one. So I was a little disappointed in that, but again, we will be recoloring it, so not all is lost. Alright guys, now for one of the most important steps, conditioning. And if you have dry, cracked, wrinkled leather, you would not believe how well Leather Honey Conditioner softens and deeply hydrates your leather, bringing it back to life. And because this leather couch was really never properly hydrated or cared for, I was a bit heavy-handed with the conditioner, and really it just soaked up like a sponge. It really brought a lot of the natural beauty back to the leather that was lost due to dryness. And just so you guys know, Leather Honey may seem at first like it's darkening your leather, maybe even ruining it, but it will dry lighter to its natural color, as you'll see on this couch. Unless your leather is extremely dry and damaged or faded, Leather Honey should not darken your leather after proper application. And while I'm at it, I'll just mention that I know how important it is to use sustainable and eco-friendly products today. And if you didn't know, Leather Honey's products are non-toxic, made in the USA, and one application can even last more than 6 months. It makes your leather look and feel the way that leather should. And you guys know how they say a man's best friend is his dog. Well, they say that leather's best friend is Leather Honey. Did they say that? No, I actually just made that up. But if leather could talk, I'm sure it would ask for Leather Honey. So as I was adding the conditioner to the leather, I made sure to add a really good amount, but not too much. Whatever the leather accepted, I kind of left it at that. So once I fully applied all the conditioner to every part of the leather on the couch, I made sure to wait at least 24 hours as mentioned in the instructions. Now, I know a lot of people complain that Leather Honey is sticky, but that's honestly because they're using it wrong. All you have to do is let it dry for 24 hours like the instructions say, and then buff off any excess. So make sure you guys do that and you will get the best results. And if you guys are uncertain about Leather Honey, take and weigh the results that I got in this video. There was no way that this couch could have softened up after years of neglect and become rejuvenated again without it. You guys can get amazing results just like the other 60,000+ 5-star ratings on Amazon. So guys, give it a try and see why it's been a bestseller for over 50 years strong. And as a gift, I was able to get you guys 20% off and free shipping if you use my code AVUMMIES at leatherhoney.com. All right, now that the leather has been deeply conditioned, now it's time to cover any of those permanent stains with some recoloring balm. And just so you guys know, I did condition first so that the leather could get really hydrated before we applied anything onto the surface. And I will say we tried so many on the market, but a lot of them were just too thin of pigment. So we really needed a more pigmented and less opaque option. But most of these on the market weren't really good, so we had to settle for this brand on Amazon called Fortivo. It wasn't perfect, it was just about the same color, just slightly off, but we had to make it work. And the way that we made it work was by applying a very thin and dispersed coat of leather balm at a time. Because in our opinion, leather that has character looks more genuine and higher quality than a perfectly unblemished leather that has one single tone. So really our goal here was to blend in some of the damage and signs of wear with a sheer finish while leaving some of the natural marks and color variations. And we found that we were able to achieve this look best with a few sheer coats and placing more emphasis on areas that had darker spots or more wear. And we specifically tried to avoid getting a uniform finish in order to make the paint look more like a natural leather, though there was only so much that we could do. And as you guys can see, we specifically applied a little balm at a time and then stippled it into the leather, making sure not too much pigment was left in one spot. This really brought a marbled effect to the leather, which is exactly what we wanted. It could have been more uniform, but we wanted it to be more sheer so that the leather looked more natural. And because we colored some parts of the leather, we also had to put a sheer coat on most of the parts of the couch as well to blend it in, which helped everything become a little bit more cohesive. And to be honest guys, if I had a choice, I wouldn't have actually used any recoloring balm, but due to the permanent staining and overall wear, I wasn't really given a choice. And to be honest, when I was first cleaning the leather, I was really disappointed trying to remove all those stains and they just didn't come out. I really did actually feel defeated, but then my wife suggested that we just put a light coat of leather paint so at least it would look presentable. and man, it really did turn out much better than we both expected. And as you guys can see here, we are trying to cover some of those cat scratches as they did become discolored and darker where the punctures were. And honestly, it did a pretty good job of covering it, but it definitely wasn't perfect because a lot of that had to do with the texture. So we continued through the rest of the couch, making sure that all of the colors blended in right. And something that we noticed was that we needed to be careful around the stitching because it really did soak up a lot of the balm, which made it look and feel a little painted. So we made sure to wipe off any of that excess afterwards. And just a few other key points I wanted to mention is that we found that dabbing the product into the scratches or deeper grooves worked best to fill in any of the textured areas, while working in a smaller circular motion worked best for areas with a smoother finish. And also guys, going from a lighter to a darker shade of or color will give you the most coverage and likely the best results. Alright guys, so in between coats, I made sure to gently sand down any rough patches that may have developed with the first coat. This made the leather very smooth after we applied the balm, so this step was key in getting the best results overall. Again, I did use a very high grit sandpaper, making sure not to sand off all the work we just did. It really did help it come together evenly. I should also note that I was trying to be as careful as possible not to sand near any of the stitching, as that would compromise the integrity of the thread and potentially break later on. So be careful if you take this step. A little hack that I used was putting a sponge behind my sandpaper to make sure that when I was sanding down any uneven surfaces, the sponge gave some extra cushion so that I wasn't sanding down anything unevenly. That really helped ensure a smooth and uniform area that felt and looked really good. Again, I was just sanding in between coats of the leather balm, ensuring that the texture was even, because honestly a lot of time people try to paint over areas where the texture is off and they wonder why it looks so bad. So when it comes to leather restoration especially, our goal is first the texture because that's what's underneath, and then we can focus on color afterwards. Alright guys, I know what you're thinking because I'm thinking it too. Man, this looks so bad. But honestly guys, it's only darker here because it's wet right now, so once it dries it'll be a little lighter. So this is where in the whole process you just say, I'm just gonna trust the process and go from there. So like I just said, whenever you put any liquid or anything to moisten the leather and get into the pores, just the nature of leather is that at first it darkens and then after it dries it lightens up. So I just don't want you guys to be discouraged if it doesn't look perfectly at first. Wait for it to dry and then reassess any changes you need to make. For us, we knew there was really no way that this was going to turn out perfectly back to normal, but we did want to do our best, and for us it was looking great, so we were super pleased. Go ahead and drop a comment below on what you think about the process and how it's turned out so far. So as you guys can see, with each coat it's getting better and better, but we did want to stop because we didn't want just one flat color. We wanted to keep some of the grain of the leather, which meant that some of those cat scratches would show through. But it was a decision we decided to make to expose as much of the natural grain as possible. Moving forward, we'll be making some serious progress on part 2 of this furniture series, but you guys gotta watch our final video because that's when we'll be wrapping everything up and sharing some of the biggest hacks to make this couch look as like new as possible. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll be sharing how to very affordably refill and fluff back those sagging and wrinkled cushions. So if you guys are interested in that, stick around. I can't wait to tell you what we did and how we did it. It literally made the leather look so much more luxurious from an old and sagging past. So thank you guys so much for watching and sticking around until this point. We are honored. This couch is definitely a journey for us. Hopefully you've enjoyed it yourself, and it's literally the longest and most difficult project, both on the restoration side as well as the editing side, to have produced. So I am so grateful for your attention on it. If you guys got value or enjoyed today's video, would you hit that like button and consider subscribing with the bell icon so that you can stay up to date with the channel? We would love for you to be a part of our community. And if you guys want to share it with a friend, that'd be great. I am super excited to get to part 3 of this furniture series on the poly and bark leather restoration. So make sure to click part 3 next. We will see you guys over there. Remember to love your leather.